All right, we're live. So just one quick note, just for you, if you're ever creating them in the future, personally, I don't start it until everybody's here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in the video, if the instructor's looking at it, you have like a bunch of awkward minutes of people just kind of sitting around staring at each other.
Yeah.
Because you can always just do it like after the prayer or whatever, hit the start, and then we'll be live. So
Okay.
just a tip.
Cool.
But
can I stop it right now then, or no? Or
I don't know that you can actually stop it because that finishes the broadcast. Like it doesn't let you
like restart.
Yeah, it doesn't like pause and start again. But just so you know for the future, I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Cool.
I'm sure they all kind of understand. Everybody learning.
Yeah.
Give everybody like 2 more minutes, and then at least we can start. Because I got to be off by 8.
Yeah, I have so much homework to do. It's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, I've got get ready. My grandpa passed away last week, so we're getting ready for the funeral. We're getting ready to head out of town.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, appreciate that. He was ready, but I still got to go through it all.
Yeah. But I think it's just going to be you, Andrew, and that's it, because Veronica's not going to be here.
Nothing from Logan?
I didn't see him respond to anything, but hopefully he comes.
I know he's been pretty busy with work, trying to take on some extra responsibilities and stuff.
Yeah, so I completely missed last time because I thought I was waiting for like the link or whatnot, and then supposedly
he put it in the discussion board, and then even then it was only doing like half the link was the hyperlink, so you had to like copy and paste the whole thing. That's why this is my personal whatever, because like he set his up ahead of time, which I don't like. I've done it once, but it doesn't really work as smooth for me. That's why I normally just come in about 5 minutes early, make it, and then send the email. That way it's not getting lost. Because I've been in some groups before where they're like, oh yeah, I see the email, and they accidentally delete it, and then they're not joining. Yeah.
Yeah. My dog's right here because I have some pizza over here, and she's just like, give me the pizza.
I have to kick mine out, otherwise they're too loud. $7:10. You want to go ahead and just at least get started, and then if they kind of join, they join.
Yeah, let's do it. You want to offer the prayer?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, cool.
Our Father in heaven, I'm grateful for this day. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to meet together to be able to discuss the case. We pray that Thy Spirit may be with us. We'll be able to have a insightful and productive conversation. We'll be able to understand the principles we should be learning from these cases. And we say things in my Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Oh, that's right. I had that sheet pulled up. I have to go over. Okay. So let's just go ahead and get with the questions. Hopefully we have people pop in here pretty soon. But anyway, so discuss the pros and cons and great depth for all the candidates that were in the case study.
Okay. Do you have anyone in particular you want to start with, or I don't know how you?
Let me pull up. I think I don't know what I did with the case study because I had it pulled up.
The way I kind of did it, my case study is I just did I did them in the order they talked about them.
Yeah.
Made it easier trying to make sure I remembered all of them.
Let's see. Okay, there it is. Okay, so I mean, let's see. What was the question going over? Just for all the candidates. So starting off with, what was her name?
The one that already works there?
Yeah, Raina Shia, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
So reading over her, I mean, the case study gave us some good examples. I mean, of like what kind of person she is. For example, I remember reading in there that she has some areas that she needs to work on, but they didn't really say she was terrible or anything. I'm trying to find that paragraph that I wrote about. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Meanwhile, look for. Do you have anything on her that you saw?
Yeah. So some of the strengths I saw was that she's already established in the company. That kind of goes a long way because she's already got the contacts. She kind of knows the flow of how things are. She's clearly a good member of the team. So I thought that was kind of important, and a plus for her is that she's already established. She's already doing the job, which means that she's kind of already been in place. She already has some ideas on probably how she wants to improve, on what she can do. She's already working with the juniors and developing a rapport with them.
Yeah.
She's proven herself teachable. She talked she talked during the when I think it's David is that his name? The guy that we're helping out here? Oh, Steven.
Steven.
Yeah, with Steven, she when she was talking to him, he's like, she really wants to be there. That was the one thing she said is like, she's like, I'm willing to go somewhere else, but I'd rather not. I really want to be in this position in this industry. She's like, I feel like I've caught up all the way. So like, she's clearly willing to put in the time and the work, and she definitely has the potential to grow into the situation.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. Like, I found the paragraph I was looking for. So it's the title of news from Headhunter. In this paragraph, it just says, for example, Rena still sometimes relies on advice of more senior analysts in the technology group. He thought she has made some improvement, and I'm happy with her work overall. But I've heard mixed reviews about her. Some of the Salesforce thinks she has to be more assertive when she presents her reports, but others have commented that she's very knowledgeable about the industry, like you said, knowledgeable. I'd actually like to hear from Craig Robertson so we can get the recruiting process moving. So yeah, as you said, like, I mean, she knows her stuff, which is good. And in my personal experience, I mean, when you hire somebody, it's always usually better for going internal because, like we've said, if you've been there for so many years, you know what's expected and everything. And obviously, when you get put towards a new position that's new to you, it's going to take time for them to actually like get into it. But definitely give them a chance because it's way better than taking someone out on the street that have to start from ground one and learn everything, which takes a while. Like at the bank here in Rexburg, I came here, I transferred from Utah, as you know, and the manager just got hired there like 6 months or something before I came. So he was still brand new. It was his first time being a branch manager at a bank. Before he was at Enterprise. So he had to learn everything about banking, which was really hard for him. And he's still to this day like learning so much stuff. So I mean, there is ways where it's better to go with somebody, but I feel like it's always a better choice for someone that's been there and knows everything, you know?
Yeah, I think if you can find the person with the right qualifications inside the company, it's definitely a good idea to kind of promote within.
Yeah.
But the problem with her, I feel like, is because we're doing pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The cons with her is that management's not behind her at all. Steven went to management and they keep sending him emails saying, hey, when are you hiring somebody else? Like, we need a different solution. So I feel like that's really hard that you can't, even if she feels that she's ready, management doesn't feel like she is, right? Like, I think that would be very hard to go against kind of what management thinks and hire her to do the job if she doesn't have the management. And then kind of like you said, she's very introverted. And not that introverted is necessarily a problem, but you have to be able to put that aside when the times come able to, and she doesn't really seem to be able to do that. She still kind of gets shy in meetings. And you really have to have someone that has that strong leadership background. And to this point, she doesn't have it. So I mean, she definitely got some goods, but just the con of the management not backing her is really what kind of frightened me on her. They're your bosses. I mean, you want to make sure they're happy as well. So
yeah. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next candidate. So, what do you think about Sonia?
Sonia, Sonia, I was actually really impressed with her. She's an up and comer in the industry. She's got raving reviews from everybody that she works with, her clients, her co-workers, everybody that kind of talked to gave her a really good review. She's got a strong technical and sales background. She's really good with clients. She's a good writer. She does her homework thoroughly. She provides solid, insightful research to the client problems, to the market. She asked really good questions during her interview, which I thought was really impressive. So the questions about the teamwork, the culture. She wasn't focused on the compensation, I guess. She was really focused on the aspects of the actual job. In that reading we did, it talks about the human capital. And I thought her general human capital, or the ability to kind of gather, cultivate, and deploy financial, technical, and human resources, was really high, which is something that we learned about was really, really transferable between companies. So overall, I think she's got a lot of strengths that would be very good to the position.
Yeah.
The only negatives I kind of saw were that she hasn't. Well, there's a couple. She hasn't been able to, she hasn't worked for a larger place, so you don't know if those same skills are going to translate.
Yeah.
And then the other problem is that she wants to stay home. She doesn't really want to commute, which is kind of what the problem seems that the position seems that it needs. But so far, she's been able to work around that, and she's been very successful.
Yeah.
And even her clients have said, hey, she's able to make it work.
Yeah. So what I did was basically just highlighted the paragraphs of a little about them, what they were talking about. So for Sonia, this is what I found. So it just says Craig notes that Sonia that she has both technical and sales. She has both technical and sales backgrounds, which is great for the position. She's an excellent writer and responsive to her clients. She also is involved in some kind of global effort at her firm. So I can't quite tell her what her role is. She must be doing a stellar job at her current firm, receiving even up and coming mention from to his small feat from while working at a boutique. But would she be able to succeed at a large firm like RSH? She seems to have a much better command of industry than Andrew Casson. She dedicated enough to struggle her career in raising 2 children. I admire that. I'm going to put her into the pool of candidates. So, like you said, basically just a quick review of basically what you said. I totally agree. I mean, where she's came from, she's definitely she's a hard worker, especially for being a mom. I mean, that's still being really hard to be successful when you work and everything as well.
Right.
But I do like how she's she's the excellent writer. She's responsive to her clients, which is really necessary to have in a firm, is to be able to get back to your clients and everything and manage entire. But yeah, I think she'd be definitely a great candidate as well. And as does cons as well. It's like you said, she's never been in a big firm like RSH. So it's just, I mean, that's just a gamble if she'll do good or not. But I mean, if she keeps with her work that she's been doing previously, I think she'll be fine. So let's go ahead and move on to Seth. Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. I'm trying to remember backtrack to it because I read. Let me think 1 second if I could find that paragraph. Okay, so here's the paragraph that I highlighted for it. So it's on page 7, just right before we talked about Sonia. So it says he just had a great year and showed the institutional investor as a runner-up. I'm also aware that the power chip deal is coming up, and not only has Seth been covering this company, but has some very close contacts at the firm, including some mid and high-level management. Seth admires the work being done at RSH. Mr. Carney, he headed for 2 slot next year, and he told me that he'd love to be working for the firm when he does. Then it says the guy's clearly actively job hunting Stephen thought, and he's trying to go through anti-Armstrong to get into the Wall Street firm. What's the angle of Seth? Seth Horcombe, does this runner-up ranking mean he's firmly headed for stardom? Will I kick myself if I don't interview him and then he places us a team? And 2, next year, is this worth adding the pool of candidates if Seth is truly worthy? While did Craig include him on the short list? So, I mean, I guess I didn't get like too big of like a big like, oh yeah, he's a great candidate for it. But I just feel like, I mean, the good pros about him is just like he has those contacts that he could definitely use for if he does get that position. But what I felt like he just needed to work on probably was, like it says, he needs to write reports and express himself more clearly about himself. But I mean, he has, like it says, that he has that solid background. But I don't know. I just didn't think he was that great of a candidate.
Okay. So that's for Seth, right?
Yeah, Seth.
Hold on a second. Let me see. I actually thought he was actually my second leading candidate.
Yeah.
The reason I put him that is I feel like he was really tailor made for the position. Especially with that large contract coming with Power Chip, he's got a lot of and that kind of seemed to be the biggest focus at the moment.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of strong connections within the company. He could be the perfect person to secure the deal. He's really dedicated to his work, and he has a really good plan as to where he wants to go and how he wants to get there. I thought some of the questions about why he kind of jumps around the company to company were not necessarily, or why because he was the guy that his company didn't like him, right? Or his company didn't really see him as a star. And so I thought that was a legitimate reason for leaving. And he's looking for a long-term partnership with a company that will believe in him and allow him the opportunity to grow and reach stardom. He's been very successful in his current roles. He could bloom with increased opportunities that his current situation doesn't afford him. He's extremely intelligent, and he seems to be able to get his job done. The concerns that I had was that the big question I wrote was, is he headed for stardom, or is he just chasing dreams instead of achievable goals? And by that I mean, like, is he able to reach the standards that he seems to have set for himself, or is he just out there putting numbers and stuff just to look good, even though he's never really going to be able to achieve it? Then the other question that came up was his current company, with not wanting to provide him cause for more opportunities. That was kind of a cause for concern. Is that a fact of, because I mean, I know there are some companies where it's like, hey, you've been here for a while, we see what your pros and cons and your flaws are, so we don't want to give you that job, and they kind of limit their own people. So is it one of those situations where they're just limiting him because they know everything about him, and maybe other candidates have are new or fresh, or they don't show those weaknesses? Or is it that they actually does really have flaws that you can't see? So that was kind of my questions with him. But overall, I thought he was actually a really good candidate, just based on his desires to grow, his ability to do so, and then that power chip, I think, kind of pushed him over the top. That's such a huge deal for them right now that they need to secure that he could be a really good candidate for that.
Yeah. Okay, great. Next candidate is Gerald. What did you think about him? Gerald Baum, how do you pronounce his name?
So Gerald, I did not have many positives for, to be completely honest. He placed very high recently, first and second in a couple of different categories, and appears to be on the rise. The last 18 months have been really strong, which is a good sign for him. They've been amongst the best in the business and show strong signs of potential stardom, and that is where the positives ended for me. There's a lot of negatives for him. First, the meeting where he showed up and he was late, wasn't even apologetic. Kind of a huge turnoff for me. I thought that's very unprofessional, not really the way you want to start a partnership. And I understand if things happen, but usually you say, hey, I'm sorry, this is what happened or whatever else, right? That didn't happen. In addition, he was focused on everything the opposite of the culture, right? Like the culture of the company is teamwork, people working together, mentors, mentees, things like that. Where he's coming from, the company is a very highly competitive and cutthroat company, and you can see that in the questions he asked. He wanted to know about compensation, about whether he could replace his team. Just a lot of things about that just kind of didn't really sit well with me. I don't think he fits into the culture. And so then I think they did a little more research on him, and they asked other people, and they said, no, that is exactly how he is. That he is very much that person. And then the other thing that I didn't like was that everything that they said that he responded with was negative, right? Like it, and that's the thing. Like there's times that you may need to. The things aren't the best, right? Like everything's not peachy in every situation, which is why you're leaving or you're looking for more opportunities to leave usually. However, that doesn't mean that everything's always bad. And so people that just take that well, everything's always bad, everything's this, everything's that, everything kind of sucks and I need to get away from them. For me personally, I feel like that's more of a mark of the candidate versus the actual company he's coming from. And so I think that was a really negative take for me, and I didn't really like the way that he handled himself with that. So like I said, I had a lot more negatives than any positives for him, and I would not hire him. He was actually at the bottom of my list.
Yeah. So I mean, I have to agree. When you're late to anything, I mean, it's always good to either like say before, or usually after, saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm late for this reason. I was late or whatnot," to at least say something. But I mean, he didn't, like we know, he didn't say anything, which is really unprofessional. Like you said, his numbers right now, they're great. They look good for him for that comeback he should be getting. But I also didn't think he was that great of a candidate as well due to that. Because I mean, what I've seen in past where people are, if they're late to things, such as showing that like, oh, I don't really care, I can come late to this, and it won't be like any matter. Usually, if you want to show your professionalism, you want to like usually get there like 15 minutes early, just so you're there and on time, and make sure you can show that like you want to be there and everything for the interview. So.
And then again, things can happen, but you should at least say something or call or at least apologize when you get that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about then. The last one was it David? Yeah, David Hughes. Okay, so I don't know. I found David kind of interesting. I honestly didn't read too much about him. But what I did see was, so going through his interview, I'm just trying to find it here in the essay. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Yeah. Okay. So just like, for example, so the interview with David Hughes, here it says that David and Stephen or Stefan arrived at the restaurant seamlessly. It says, that's good. Stefan thought I like promptness. He does look his age. I wonder if the job wore him out. Will he still have the energy, the spark to continue working at top level? He's come highly recommended and still ranks well in 2. And David has a lot of name recognition. That's certainly important to almost any client, though I hope the buy side hasn't started to view him as an ancient relic. It'll be interesting talking to him. The man is practically a celebrity on the street. So just from that paragraph, and then from later on, just like as we see, I mean, like he's highly recommended and ranks in 2, which is great for numbers as well. But let's see, and the recognition he has will be good for clients, because I mean, obviously, when you want to get your name out there, because if people know who you are and they know that you're a positive person or just you have success, they're obviously going to want to go to you. Like for example, at the bank, when we have somebody new and a customer doesn't know that person, do you think they're going to go to that person who's new, or the person who they know, who knows their stuff? They're going to go to the person who knows their stuff because they trust them, they have that relationship and everything. So I think that'd be a plus for David, that he'd be able to carry that over to the firm. Negatives. I mean, did you find really any negatives about him?
So what I wrote up was that David Hughes is exactly what you're looking for. He's a recognized star talent from another agency who has shown the ability to get the job done.
Yeah.
Everyone that you spoke to shared that he's bright, articulate, and a great mentor for those around him. He'd be a great addition to the team and provide you with a great gap in person to develop junior analysts in the department.
Yeah.
While he's a star, there are several questions surrounding him. He is getting older in age, and some corporate executives are wondering if he's slowing down and able to maintain that status.
Exactly.
Do you really want to pay premium for the star who's on the back end of their career?
Mm-hmm.
I'm huge into sports, and you see this problem all the times. Guys play really well, they hit their peak. They're regarded as superstars or all stars. People pay for them, and then all of a sudden, a year or two down the road, they're really handicapping the team because they're taking so much of a percentage of the team's cap space and they can't sign anybody else, and they're also not the same player they were. So that, for me personally, was a real big struggle or a real big question. The other thing that there's two other things that I really didn't like. The fact that he blew off a need in the industry when he was on vacation kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It was like, I understand you're on vacation, but not even like calling in to check up on anybody or maybe give some advice or whatever, like working on your vacation. You don't have to come back, but at least show a little more interest. That kind of bothered me. If he is, oh, I'm so great, I'm this, I'm that. Well, I've done everything I can do. I'm an all-star. I'm going to be treated as such. That kind of bothered me. And then the other thing was that he's an overtop perfectionist who doesn't follow the same standards he holds others to.
Yeah.
They talked about his reports and things like that. He expects everybody else to follow the policies 100% to the T, but yet he doesn't do the same thing himself. So that was kind of a little off-putting for him as well. And I think somebody like that could really destroy the team environment that they work so hard to build. If you have somebody that comes in and says, hey, don't do what I do, do as I say. And then again, that same, well, I'm not going to come in to help with an issue. I'm on vacation. So those are kind of the negatives for me. He's definitely who they want and what they're looking for. But are they going to look for somebody who's already that person who could fall off, or are they going to look for somebody who could develop into that person?
Yeah. For me, it's like, no offense to I guess the older people, but younger people just have that spark sometimes that will really get you going. But as you mentioned, it's like the NBA, for example, Carmelo Anthony, he's definitely lost his prime. And he's just in space right now.
Yeah, so he's making $28 million a year to suck. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. So I have to agree with you there on that. Okay. So next question is, let's see, who would you hire and why? So for me, I would still go for Rena, because I just feel like she has that inside of the company where she knows what's expected. Like I said, she knows what's asked for and everything. And she was following Peter, the guy who left, which would be a help because she knows what he was doing and everything because he was following her. As we know right now, she's just the person in place while they're searching for somebody. And what I put in my writing was if she's there right now, give her a couple more weeks while they're still searching for somebody. If she doesn't fit right in those 2 weeks or whatnot, definitely look for somebody else. But I think it'll at least give her a chance,
Yeah. So I ultimately ended up going with Sonia, the up and comer, and the reason that I ended up going with her is that she's proven herself in the small market, and a lot of her talents and abilities, like we said, fall in that general human capital. So they're very portable to different positions, to different companies. It's a lot of things she can take with her. So I feel like she will be able to develop and to grow into that star. I think she's done really well. The questions she asked in the interview really struck me as a positive. She really wants to fit into that team, and to really kind of be part of that culture. So I think that was really the opportunity for them to kind of get in on the ground floor with the generational talent. It's like drafting, the next star out of college or something. Yes, she may take some time to develop, but at the same time, she has those qualities and those traits that are going to translate. Versus, with Rena, I feel like, kind of going back to that capital thing, is she has capital inside the company, But does that necessarily make her the best candidate if you needed to move her around or you needed to whatever? Is she a good candidate because of what she does or because of the experience she has within that specific company? So that was kind of one of the questions that I had was, but I think with Sonia, and I think we'll probably get to this next, so I'll just kind of move on with the negatives with her as far as like the risk assessment. She definitely does have her risk. She does come from a very small place, and it's possible that clients don't give her that same name respect that somebody else might give her. It's something she'll have to fight a little bit harder for and really earn. And then the other problem is the commuting could end up being a problem, but she's shown with the commuting in the past that she's been able to work around it, so I don't think that'll be such a big deal.
Yeah. Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen so you can see this really quick. This is the next question. Let's go.
Is it the money part?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just read it like right before we started.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so just looking here, then just the next question is, so after reviewing it, should Stefan give Rena a permanent offer or hire outside the company? For me, just looking at it, like if you see current salary 0.3 million, salary at RSH including raise 0.3, multiple over Rena salary 1x. I would still go with Rena. It's just because my gut feeling, just my past experience I've had of being in the company of U.S. Bank, just seeing what's been like, who's been getting hired, who hasn't been getting hired, and everything. Because like I said, she knows her stuff, and she knows, like I said, I feel like I'm repeating myself, like what's expected. But all these outsiders, it's a gamble. If they come in and they just don't fit, and they leave, you just invested a lot of money in somebody, and they just left the firm, and they have to find somebody else new again. Where if Rena's already currently there, she's already currently on the payroll and everything. So if you take a loss, she's just probably gonna get demoted to a different position or where she was at while they find somebody else. It's just a loss of time for the company, but at least you're finding to see if she's a good fit, or within like a couple months she could find like her maximal potential and really be able to show who she really is and everything. So. What do you think about that?
So which question are we on?
It's the should Steven give Rena a permanent offer or hire outside the company?
I think of my choice, I kind of showed that I don't think she should get the permanent offer. Again, that management not backing her is really the terrifying part of it. Management doesn't back her; they don't seem to like her. How much would they respect him and her in that role if nobody really seems to like her? So that was really just a big negative for me that I think really kind of ended up not going with her. So no, I don't think he should.
Okay. So next question is, should Steven have let Peter go? In all honesty, Peter had a better offer, so he left. I don't remember reading anything that he like even backfired or anything to Peter to stay. But I think it was just time. Yeah, I think it was just, if he wanted to leave, he wanted to leave for a reason. So.
Yeah. I think he probably should have tried a little bit to at least see if there's something he could do to get him to stay.
Yeah.
It didn't really seem like he tried very hard. But at the same time, you never know what other circumstances there were. So I think he definitely should have put a little more effort into at least seeing what it would have taken to make him stay. But without that information, I can't really say yes or no. He should have fought harder for him, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. The next question, because I want to get you out of here on time. So should Stefan have talked to the recruiter to ask about Seth? Refresh my mind about. I'm trying to see. I forgot. There were so many people. I just forgot about Seth. Oh yeah, okay. So let's see. He just had a great year and showed institutional necessary as a runner-up. I'm also aware that the hardship video is coming up, and not only Seth had been covering this company, but he has some very close contacts at the firm, including blah blah blah. So Seth Horkman. Yeah. So the real question is, Seth, what is truly worthwhile? Why didn't Craig include him on the short list?
I think. Well, I don't know that he even necessarily knew about him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure. I didn't really catch that from the case. Um, I think that Steven definitely should have done a little more research on him, maybe.
Yeah.
But honestly, like Seth was actually my second choice
Yeah.
for this case. I went with Sonia, Seth, David, Rena, and then that other guy, Gerald, for the last one.
Okay.
So I think he probably could have asked a little bit more about information about him, but I think he presented himself pretty well. So um, I think anytime someone presents you with the opportunity that they have an interest, um, you should take that chance to look at him. It could be that he wasn't actively seeking a job, but then when he heard about this opening, he decided to take it, and I think it at least was worth the decision to interview him at least. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree that he should have been at least in there, but I mean, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Does the performance on one firm guarantee high performance at another firm? I'd say no, because I mean, I don't know about much about firms, and because that's not like what I'm studying or anything, but I imagine it's just like if I come from like a background at US Bank and I go to Wells Fargo or to Zions Bank, another big bank. I mean, each has different standards and have different goals and different visions and everything. And so if I succeed over here at US Bank, then I go over to Wells Fargo and like I just don't do good. I mean, it's just because they both have two different backgrounds of like what they're looking for and everything. Like for example, Wells Fargo was like sales, 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 and you see what happened with them. They just went downhill because they were doing stuff that was illegal.
Right.
U.S. Bank, I mean, they have their vision is just like to help their customers. We used to be 5-star guaranteed to our customers and everything. We're more up to like our customer service and everything. But yeah, so I mean, if you have success in one, great, show it that you were strong in that area. Like for me, I'm really good at selling credit cards. I'm the top credit card seller in our division, which is in 3 states. But what was weird is, I mean, down in Utah, I would try to do the same thing, but I wasn't too successful down there. But here in Rexburg, I'm just killing at it. So I mean, I guess just like I said, it's different standards, different things you're looking for, and everything. So I don't think one place you can just like show your performance and expect to go somewhere else and succeed because you're gonna look at a whole new ball game of like what you're trying to succeed in. So
Yeah. Definitely the same kind of thought. I've kind of talked about it throughout the night as we talked about some of the different candidates. Kind of combining the last question with this one. It talks about in that the human or the capital pyramid or whatever. You have the general human capital, which is kind of what we talked about, those actual skills and talents that you can kind of take anywhere and you'll be able to learn and grow the different specifics of that company. You have
yep,
the strategic capital, then you have the industry human capital, which is kind of what I think this is more talking about, where you're within the same industry. There's definitely a certain knowledge or skill set that is required. Like if I were to go to a different hospital, I would at least know the general laws and banner like in the company policies, but
yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily know the kind of the last one, the company specific. I wouldn't know the specific hospitals, reporting policies, where their stuff's kept at, how they do, X, Y, and Z. So
yeah,
I think to a degree you can use previous performance to as a baseline judgment, but I
yeah,
definitely don't think it's everything. If we look at that one guy, I think it was Gerald, right? Like he was really good. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Um, Sorry. I thought he was really good at where he was, but that was also a very cutthroat environment. They didn't
Yeah.
do the same teamwork that this place does. So that's why I don't think he would be a very good candidate. He has the industry knowledge, but the company specific and the relationship with the human capital are not necessarily conducive to his personality and to where he's worked at. So I definitely think there's a difference, and I don't think you can put stock into one without and just assume that it's automatically gonna translate.
Yeah. Okay, great. You just took care of the last question too, so it's kind of sad we didn't have any of us jump in to hang out with us, but maybe next week. So
yeah.
Any other questions or anything?
Not for me. Just when you exit out, when you quit recording and you exit out, it's gonna send it like it'll be in your events. Yeah, if you click on that, it'll open it up on YouTube, and then just copy and paste the YouTube link into the discussion board.
Cool.
Then no, I don't have any specific questions for the case.
Okay. Do we have to end with a prayer? I forgot or not?
Nope.
Okay. Cool, man. All right. Well, hey, good luck to you, man.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. Later.